Business finance management is often presented as a simple process. Increase sales, reduce expenses, track profits, and everything will work out. But the truth is far more complicated. What nobody tells you is that many businesses do not fail because they have a bad product, poor marketing, or weak customer demand. They fail because they misunderstand the hidden side of managing money. The financial side of a business behaves more like human psychology than mathematics. Numbers do not simply measure performance. They reveal habits, emotions, fears, priorities, and decision-making patterns. Once you understand this reality, you begin to see business finance in a completely different way. Most business owners believe profit is the ultimate goal, but profit can be surprisingly misleading. A business can look profitable on paper while struggling to pay employees, suppliers, or rent. This happens because profit tells a story about the past, while cash flow determines survival in the present. Nobody talks enough about timing. Timing can destroy a healthy business. Imagine selling thousands of dollars worth of products today, but waiting 60 days to receive payment. During those 60 days, expenses continue to grow. Salaries must still be paid. Bills still arrive. Inventory still needs replacement. This invisible gap between earning money and receiving money is where countless businesses quietly collapse. Another truth that rarely gets discussed is that growth creates financial stress. Many entrepreneurs dream about rapid expansion, but growth is expensive. More customers require more staff, larger facilities, additional inventory, better systems, and higher operating costs. Growth consumes cash faster than stability does. In many situations, businesses fail because they grow too quickly without preparing financially. Success can become more dangerous than failure when it happens faster than a company's financial structure can support. Business finance management is also about making decisions under uncertainty. People imagine successful entrepreneurs always know what will happen next, but experienced business owners understand that certainty almost never exists. Instead, they learn how to make reasonable decisions with incomplete information. Financial management becomes a process of reducing uncertainty rather than eliminating it entirely. This shift in thinking changes everything. The goal is not perfection. The goal is making better decisions than competitors while accepting that some information will always remain unknown. Something else nobody explains is that expenses behave differently depending on emotional attachment. Business owners tend to defend costs connected to their identity. They justify unnecessary office space because it makes them feel successful. They purchase expensive software because it gives an impression of professionalism. They continue projects that stopped working months ago because abandoning them feels like admitting failure. Financial management often requires separating ego from economics. Numbers have no emotions, but people do. Learning to recognize emotional spending habits can dramatically improve financial outcomes. Many people assume revenue solves all financial problems, but revenue often creates new challenges. High-revenue businesses can experience tremendous pressure if margins remain low. A company generating millions in sales can still struggle financially if costs consume nearly all available resources. In contrast, smaller businesses with strong margins sometimes enjoy greater stability and flexibility. What matters is not how much money enters the business. What matters is how much money remains available after obligations have been fulfilled. Another hidden reality involves opportunity costs. Every dollar spent represents a decision not to spend somewhere else. Purchasing equipment may delay marketing campaigns. Hiring employees may postpone technology investments. Offering discounts may reduce resources available for innovation. Every financial decision silently eliminates alternative possibilities. The most successful business owners understand that finance management is essentially the art of choosing what not to do. This perspective encourages discipline and prevents organizations from spreading resources too thin. There is also a misconception that financial reports only exist for accountants. In reality, financial statements reveal stories about business behavior. The income statement shows operational efficiency. The balance sheet reflects accumulated decisions over many years. Cash flow reports expose weaknesses hidden beneath attractive profit numbers. When owners learn to interpret these reports as narratives instead of technical documents, finance becomes much more meaningful and useful. One of the least discussed aspects of finance management is energy allocation. Financial resources and human energy often move together. Businesses frequently invest money into projects that leadership teams no longer believe in. Employees lose motivation, innovation slows down, productivity decreases. Financial problems sometimes originate from declining enthusiasm rather than declining demand. Numbers may reveal symptoms, but underlying causes can be cultural or strategic. Understanding this relationship helps leaders identify problems before they become severe. Nobody warns entrepreneurs about decision fatigue. As businesses grow, leaders face hundreds of financial choices each month. Pricing decisions, staffing decisions, inventory purchases, supplier negotiations, marketing budgets, and investment opportunities compete for attention. Poor decisions often emerge not because leaders lack intelligence, but because they become mentally exhausted. Creating systems, rules, and processes reduces decision fatigue and preserves mental energy for important strategic choices. Another overlooked truth is that financial flexibility can be more valuable than financial efficiency. Businesses often optimize operations to maximize profits, but highly optimized systems may become fragile. If unexpected events occur, companies with little flexibility struggle to adapt. Maintaining reserves, preserving borrowing capacity, and avoiding excessive commitments may appear inefficient during good times, but they provide resilience during difficult periods. Survival frequently depends on adaptability rather than optimization. Many business owners chase certainty through forecasting, yet forecasts are only educated guesses. Nobody can predict markets perfectly. Consumer behavior changes. Economic conditions shift unexpectedly. Technologies disrupt industries. Competitors introduce innovations. Rather than expecting forecasts to be accurate, experienced leaders use forecasts to explore possibilities. They ask what happens if sales decline. They examine scenarios involving rising costs. They prepare contingency plans. Finance management becomes an exercise in readiness instead of prediction. There is also a psychological side to financial performance. Businesses develop habits just like individuals do. Some organizations habitually delay invoicing. Others consistently overspend during strong sales periods. Some businesses postpone difficult conversations about pricing. Over time, these repeated behaviors shape financial outcomes. Improving finances often requires changing organizational habits rather than introducing complicated strategies. Few people discuss the hidden cost of complexity. Businesses frequently add products, services, processes, and systems, believing that more options create more opportunities. In reality, complexity increases management costs. It creates confusion. It slows decision-making. It raises training expenses. It increases the risk of errors. Simplicity often generates greater profitability because simple systems are easier to monitor, adjust, and improve. Complexity can quietly consume profits without anyone noticing. Another powerful insight involves the relationship between trust and finance. Businesses with strong reputations typically enjoy better payment terms, stronger customer loyalty, and improved supplier relationships. Trust reduces transaction costs. Customers pay faster. Vendors extend credit more willingly. Employees remain committed during difficult periods. Reputation functions as an invisible financial asset that rarely appears on balance sheets, but significantly influences business stability. Nobody tells entrepreneurs that saying no is a financial skill. Declining unprofitable customers, rejecting poor partnerships, avoiding unnecessary expansions, and refusing distractions can protect resources. Opportunities are not always beneficial. Some opportunities drain cash, consume attention, and reduce focus. Strategic restraint often produces stronger results than aggressive expansion. Successful financial management sometimes means deliberately choosing limitations. There is also an uncomfortable truth about business finance management. Many companies operate without understanding their true economics. They know sales numbers, but not customer acquisition costs. They track revenue, but ignore lifetime customer value. They celebrate growth while overlooking declining margins. Businesses can survive for years with incomplete knowledge, but long-term sustainability requires deeper understanding. Financial awareness creates confidence because leaders understand exactly what drives performance. One lesson rarely taught is that business finance management is fundamentally about buying time. Cash reserves purchase time to solve problems. Profits purchase time to experiment with new ideas. Strong relationships purchase time during crises. Access to capital purchases time to adapt. Businesses often fail not because solutions do not exist, but because they run out of time before implementing those solutions. Time is perhaps the most valuable financial resource available. Another secret involves measuring progress differently. Many entrepreneurs compare themselves with competitors, but financial management is often about internal improvement, reducing waste by a small percentage, improving collections slightly faster, negotiating better supplier terms, increasing efficiency incrementally. These small adjustments compound over months and years. Massive transformations usually result from consistent improvements rather than dramatic breakthroughs. Perhaps the biggest truth nobody shares is that business finance management is not really about money. It is about choices. Money simply amplifies decisions already being made. Strong financial systems support good decisions. Weak financial systems magnify poor decisions. Finance provides visibility. It helps leaders see reality clearly, even when reality is uncomfortable. The companies that thrive are not necessarily the smartest, fastest, or largest. They are often the ones willing to face their numbers honestly, adapt quickly, and remain disciplined when emotions encourage impulsive behavior. At the end of the day, business finance management is less about accounting formulas and more about understanding how businesses behave under pressure. It is about recognizing patterns before they become problems. It is about preserving flexibility when others chase growth blindly. It is about balancing ambition with sustainability. And perhaps most importantly, it is about accepting that financial success rarely comes from one brilliant decision. Instead, it emerges from hundreds of thoughtful decisions made consistently over time. Once you understand this hidden side of finance, you stop seeing numbers as intimidating reports and start seeing them as a map that guides every important business decision toward long-term stability, resilience, and meaningful success.